Hello everybody, this is Mariette Abraham, CEO and founder of Kina, the hub for data and insights in personalized nutrition. Today I want to talk about how can technology play a role in weight management, another question I received last week. And of course it's a very topical issue because many people are starting out their year with New Year's resolutions, aiming to be healthier, fitter, optimized, whatever it is that people want to achieve, want to do to really achieve optimal health. And so really what people are coming about, with question is, how can technology play a role and which technologies can really be used to get people to achieve their health goals? And these health goals can be weight, it can be just feeling better, it can be eating better, it can be adopting those healthier lifestyles and routines that would benefit our lives and also our families, friends, communities, etc. So what I'll do is run you through what we think are the opportunities really for technology to play a role in weight management for people who are considering using technology. So the first one is around smart eating. And smart eating apps we would define as an app that helps you to follow either a dietary pattern, it helps you to find foods, it creates shopping lists, meal plans, it provides recipes based on your profile, your preferences, your tastes, your goals, and then also can help to provide nutritional analysis based on what you are buying or what your shopping cart looks like and guide you towards more healthier choices or more optimal choices based on the dietary pattern that you want to follow. So there are plenty of these apps around, some better than others, but they can really help consumers to guide them towards adopting and integrating those kind of newer products into their lifestyle. What they also do is they help to inspire, new things, new foods, new ingredients, new recipes, because we tend to kind of cook the same things over and over again based on what we know, based on our skill level, in the kitchen. And so these apps are great to not only open your horizons to what other alternatives there exist. Maybe you want to integrate more vegetables, a new kind of vegetable, people all of a sudden find recipes like okra or have never really cooked with sweet potato or don't know what to do with a butternut. These kind of questions come up for people. And if you are tired of eating the same thing over and over again, these smart eating apps can be really, really helpful in helping you to try new foods and recipes that help you to stick to your recommended meal plan or dietary pattern that you are aiming for in terms of weight management. The second one is around image recognition. Now, these apps use artificial intelligence to identify the foods that are on your plate, for example, and therefore they will then analyze not only what is on your plate, but also how much of it is on your plate. And so it uses these kind of training algorithms using food images on a plate to then tell you this is what is on your plate, and this is kind of the nutritional analysis based on the food that we think that you are eating. This again is great for an easy way of food logging. We know that food logging, or tracking your dietary intake can be a massive pain. People tend to lose steam after about 3 to 4 days. And so being able to just snap an image with a device that you already have in your hand all the time makes it much easier to share this information with your coach, for example, or with a platform that then can provide you with alternative solutions, more healthier options. Why don't you add more fiber? Why don't you add a green salad to it next time? Why don't you swap this for this kind of recipe? And these kind of tools help in an education way, also an inspirational way, but also in a coaching way to help individuals to adapt their eating pattern, help them to stick towards their new plan for weight. The next thing is DIY home kits. Now, When we talk about precision nutrition, we are talking about being able to first test, first identify your current position. So your current position or your current phenotype can be what are your blood markers like, what is your body composition like, what is your behavior like, what DNA SNPs or single nucleotide polymorphisms have you inherited? What is your microbiome profile like? And so all these kind of data points can be used to identify areas where you can possibly modulate or where you can possibly adopt a new intervention or strategy that can help you towards your weight goals. For example, a lot of research has been done on, for example, the microbiome, which is kind of a growing area right now. Those who are overweight tend to have different microbiome profiles than lean individuals. And so what does that look like in terms of not only what kind of foods you need to incorporate into your diet, but also maybe how your microbiome plays a role in how you respond to different kind of foods as well. So some people respond more adversely, so their blood sugar really spikes by consuming certain types of foods and meals, whereas others don't. So what you want to be able to do is identify what is your baseline, and then how does any kind of intervention, any kind of strategy that you adopt, then modify your current phenotype. A lot has also been done about urine testing. So urine testing is becoming increasingly popular because we can, first of all, identify what you've been eating. So you can identify how much coffee you're drinking, if you're eating whole grains, if you are consuming fruit and vegetables, for example. And these all give an indication of how well is your starting point in terms of your diet, and then also how is your body then breaking down these kind of foods and nutrients to then bring you towards your goal of losing weight. The other one is also looking, for example, at nutrigenetics. There's a lot of research done there, looking at what kind of SNPs or polymorphisms are interacting and may provide maybe a challenge in terms of how well you respond to specific types of diets or dietary patterns, maybe how well you respond to types of exercises. And so there's a lot of work going on looking at how can we classify specific consumer groups into specific buckets based on how similarly they metabolize nutrients. So we call these metabotypes. And so if you can identify a specific metabotype, you can then say, okay, well, this group would do really well on maybe more of a Mediterranean style diet. This group might do a little bit better on a high protein diet. This type of group, and so on and so on and so it goes forward. So your starting point, if you can identify what kind of a type you are, or type, yes, you are, and then how well does that match with specific dietary patterns in order for you to reach your health goals. And so we see these home testing kits growing in popularity because at least you take some of the guess. You can't take all of the guesswork out, but at least it takes some of the guesswork out and gives you some starting point for you to be able to track in terms of how you are progressing. And we want to move away from, crash diets, for example, because essentially what you want is to adhere to something that you can adhere to for a long time. The next one is telehealth. So telehealth is where you can provide healthcare based on, video consultations, text messages, via a platform, chats, for example. And so the idea here is that you as the user will provide some biological data, for example. You may be asked to complete questionnaires, trying to assess how motivated you are, how much you feel, your weight loss journey or your health is in your own control. How do you like specific kind of approaches, like gamification, for example. And so these kind of assessments can also help to then curate a personalized plan for you that helps you to adhere or to stick to a plan for longer, because that's essentially what it will do. So it'll combine the biological data with your survey data, and then with coaching will help you then to reach you towards your health goal. And that's how the kind of digital health approach is then working. The next one is devices and wearables. So here we also have a lot of growth in terms of what's available. So it started off with kind of watches, just and online diaries, like you track and you log, but now it's becoming more sophisticated, because of course those are just logging and tracking. But now what we want and what we understand from behavior change is that you really need to get that feedback in order to get that longer term behavior change. And so these kind of newer devices can provide that kind of feedback and analytics and visualization, so that you understand what is going on a day-to-day basis, because a coach might only see you every 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever the case might be, but you have access to this data possibly in real time to see how you are doing. You know where you are, you know who you are with, in terms of eating, for example. You know what the weather was like, if you went to the gym or not, what time you were eating. All these different data points can provide insight into how best to approach your weight management journey. And so there are newer wearables that look at, for example, CGMs, that look at, that are continuous glucose monitors, that look at how well you respond to different kinds of foods. This can give you an insight into how well you manage specific meals or snacks, for example, how adversely or maybe not adversely you respond. And then, of course, what you can avoid as well, because what you want to do if you are in a kind of a healthy zone, then your options and your opportunity to reach your health goals are, of course, a lot higher if you have a good sense of how your body utilizes nutrients. Other devices such as scales, for example, this can submit data via Bluetooth to your coach, so they can also track remotely how you are doing. You can now get rings that can track your sleep, that can track how you metabolize, for example. And so all these newer type of devices give more of a contextual picture of how well you're doing, because your weight does not only depend on what you put into your mouth. Yeah, it depends also, for example, on what time of the day you respond best, or you should be eating best. And so how does your sleep affect how well you metabolize food? How does stress impact how well you metabolize food? So all these different data points, devices, wearables can provide an insight into this day-to-day data that really has a huge influence on how well you will do on your weight loss journey. And then finally, we also have augmented reality and virtual reality, which are kind of newer tools, are still really in the kind of research realm, but are becoming increasingly popular because we have now the metaverse. And so think about, being able to interact with your coach, for example, in the metaverse. You could be having exercise with your coach. You could be shopping in your retail store that has the shelves laid out only with products that are suitable to you. And so we are getting into this new realm where the digital meets the physical, meets the physiological, and so that all will give a picture. And it's really in terms of education and really bringing the real, or bringing it to life in terms of how people really think, and becoming more aware of how they make choices in terms of their food and their lifestyle in order to achieve health. And I think that is what is one of the most important things, is having a knowledge and awareness not only of how your body functions, but also the environmental triggers that might impact the way that you choose food or prepare foods or buy foods, are all very important. So it's beyond just the amount of calories you consume, calories in, calories out. That kind of phrase is now out of fashion, and so we really need to understand more about the individual, and technology really has the opportunity to provide us that contextual data, and using then AI and machine learning by using your own data will give you a real good insight eventually into how well you are doing on your journey. And I hope that's been useful, and thank you very much. Bye-bye.